What? He's live? What? Yes, spur of the moment. Well, I shouldn't say spur of the moment. And I'm doing live streams every day here, but it's 10 p.m. where I am right now. And the reason why I've done this live stream so late is just simply because I had a hectic night last night and a really early morning this morning. Couldn't do the live stream early, couldn't do the live stream at 7 p.m. So here we are. Now, what we're going to go over today is some pretty good crypto analysis, at least what you should be doing as a crypto investor now. I don't want to hear nothing, right? I don't want to hear you don't have enough time, because what I'm going to show you is going to give you the resources to save you time, because I know I've spoken with 15 subscribers and I have a couple more to still do, and every single one has said to me, Kyron, I'm short on time, bar one. And that one person had a good reason why they could spend all day researching crypto. So this is going to help every single one. This is the information that I would have loved myself way back when I first got into crypto, because it would have been peace of mind. If I just would have known this, it saves you a lot of hassling and just countless hours of pointless research. So thank you all for being here. Again, it is kind of a spur of the moment live stream. I didn't tell anyone about this. I haven't made any announcements. No one was expecting this. So for all you to be here so early on is crazy. So Mohammed says, let's make the first million. Yes. Before we start talking about millions, let's make the first million. I 100% agree. Nasty time. Yeah, it is. Yes, sir. And guys, my throat's a little bit sore. Why is it a little bit sore? Because I've just been screaming at, so when I work, I need complete peace and quiet. I can't listen to music. I'm not that kind of person. I need literally just dead silence. But I put on, so we had over in Australia, we had the National Rugby League finals, the grand finals. And my team I support was playing in it, and we just lost. We were like a fair few points up, and we lost in the last 15 minutes. It all unraveled. So anyway, I was screaming and yelling, and I had to turn that off. So all that aside, thank you all for being here. Let's look into some of this sort of stuff. Let's have a look. So welcome everyone. Let's have a look at who's in the chat. Tom, I'm going good. Noah, what's up? Hopefully you're doing well too, man. Let's go to the moon. Australia Golden Boy is live. Can I ask you guys something? It's kind of a running joke right now. I kind of started off not like that, but now I believe it's kind of getting quite funny. I say H-bar, but I see when I read the comments, because my video last night obviously wasn't H-bar, so I see so many times people commenting like Haych bar, like they're like, it's a bit of banter, of course. But how do Americans say it? How do you guys say H-bar? A-C-H. H-bar. Is that how you guys pronounce your H's? Kyron going to the moon. Let's go. One day, we will set up a current. No, I don't want to do that. Never. Yeah, Broncos. We did lose. We just barely lost. So disappointing. So disappointing. Anyway. Go the Pies. Take Manuka honey. Yes, my grandmother got me on Manuka honey, actually, when I get sick, but yeah, actually, I've got some at home. I might just drop some on the back of the tongue. Good suggestion. Hello from England. Hello. How long will pummel last? Your thoughts? Like the bull run? That's what you mean? Yeah, I think the bull run will go, till probably end of 2025. But here's the thing. This is why this research is so important, because I actually had a conversation with a subscriber. I think it was today, and we were talking about it, and it was pretty important because the conversation kind of took a turn where we were talking about why this could be the last bull run we possibly have. We have this whole, I talk about it all the time, like, reinvesting in the next bear market for 2030. But here's the thing. A lot is going to happen in the next bear market. I'm talking like huge crashes globally, not just crypto. This is like, the larger economic world. I'm even going to probably say we might see something close to a depression, possibly. I don't know. We're going to see something. The housing market's on very, very fine lines. And so we paired that with things like regulation coming for crypto. I don't think crypto it's not something that I'm going to be like betting on. Does that make sense? I'm going to bet on the altcoins, which is why I tell you guys to reinvest in H-bar, quant, all that sort of stuff for the long term, just in case something happened to you in 2025. But at the same time, a lot of you guys are probably investing in altcoins that won't survive the coming carnage. So I'm just letting you all know right now that still stands, that sort of multi-year plan, but this might be the last one, so we have to take advantage. Okay, I'm literally freezing my balls off. This aircon is way too cold right here. We got Z in the chat. It hurts me to say that you like the Panthers, brother, but hey, it is what it is. H-bar sounds normal from Ireland, yeah. Hello from Belgium. Wow, France. I'm British too, so I say H-bar. Yeah, it's just funny, I guess, right? And I have a very, like, the word we could use here is bogan, right? A very bogan accent. Because I know people from the south of Australia, and even so far as down in Brisbane, because I'm not down, I'm actually quite up north on the east coast. They say they pronounce words like pool, school, and cool. Pool, school, cool. I say, pool, school, cool. It sounds kind of more buggy. Anyway, we're getting off topic. Let me take you now to the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Bitcoin's up a little bit here, not too much. We've seen the last week or so since we're doing these live streams again back to some sort of frequency, daily frequency. It's only up about $600, so about 1 to 1.5% overall the last week, I think, ish. So not too bad. The rest of the altcoins are mostly all green today. So again, I would classify this as just sideways action. Nothing too crazy is happening in either direction. It is what it is. Of course, we have our CMC here. We're going to use this in a second to look at some of these altcoins. I know you guys want to look at some altcoins, so we can most definitely, but I do want to keep in mind that maybe today, this is going to be a quick live stream, by the way, because let me just quickly say here real quick. Last night I had 4 hours sleep. My parents went to overseas, had to take them to the airport nice and early, and it was my close cousin's 18th birthday last night. So late night, early morning, 4 a.m. start. So yeah, suffice to say, I've had my fair share of coffee. So we're not going to push this one. I just wanted to talk to you guys today and provide you some value, some maybe clarity here, maybe some opinions on where the bull run possibly could go. Nevertheless, I want to talk about some of the larger cap altcoins today. Some of the ones we all know and love, for example. We can analyze them, because I feel like if we start getting into the real micro caps, it's not as, like, for example, if I talk about Polygon versus like Trius, a lot of you guys know the project I get spammed with, Trius. Well, most people are going to want to research Polygon and can understand it. Very few people are going to go and apply, like go to Trius and go, oh, that makes sense. I can understand, resonate, Okay, cool. So the method we're going to obviously use is a method that I've continuously said and kind of come up with, particularly because I'm a strong believer in the next bull run. Again, I say this word all the time. It's speculation-based bull run. You compare this with the stock market and stuff like that, where you're looking at businesses and the overall market, very rich. It's been, it's been, I guess, alive for a very, very long time. Okay, there's a lot of history there, and it's very mature, right? So unlike the worst, the worst of the worst, it drops 10, 20%. Like, that's as bad as it's probably going to get in some circumstances, right? So, you have to, essentially, what I'm trying to say is, you have to research with a fine comb, right? You have to really get the magnifying glass in there and find things other people aren't looking for, because, again, that market reacts off things much deeper. And to be honest with you, a lot of it is, based on kind of what we talk about here. Popularity, for example. We base a lot of the popularity score here off connections in the bear market that they've been making, / what industry they're in, all right? For example, Hedera. Lots of big announcements in the bear market, so you can only imagine what they're holding on to. And they do this. Projects do this. They sometimes hold on to news for the right time. Okay, I get it. Some of that can't be held on to, but they try to put things at a certain time. NDAs kind of pop up at certain times. And you can only imagine, right? So if H-bar pumps up 2-3x in a bear market from some positive news, imagine with equal news in a bull run, it's going to be a lot more exponential. And so going back to, of course, stocks, that sort of thing happens as well. But sometimes because you have more people looking into projects, you have to go a little bit deeper. Anyway, this is the, I guess, 1 to 5 step guide. Now, here's the thing. The first three are things that you can very easily do. Matter of fact, even the team, like the only real one that I would probably say you should look a little bit more into is the supply. Why the supply should you look more into? Well, because this is the things that, you can find these little tiny details at below the surface. So this is all kind of service level stuff, right? Because again, we're trying to think like a degen. Think like a degen, be 10 moves ahead of the degen and make the money off the degen, right? But below the surface, the supply sort of details, small things can brew where immediately the degen doesn't see, for example, that they can come to the surface and then they can become a real issue, right? Positive or negatively, okay? It could be a really big thing brewing, just like a connection. A connection might start off very small. Hey, Hedera, Google's on the governing council. Okay, we all know it. It all becomes common knowledge at this point. But what's brewing underneath the surface may come in 2024 or 25, and Google might be using HBAR as a private network or something like that, okay? So that's kind of what I'm talking about, but in the sense of a supply, okay? Because, again, release, stuff like that. It's kind of like, and this is kind of what I tell myself as well. If someone brings it up, if someone like an expert mentions something about the supply, for example, that even influencers gloss over, because influencers, by the way, I'm going to tell you this right now, influencers know just as much as you. A lot of them just influence because it's their hobby. They just like to talk to people, and I get that, right? But just don't take their word on things. And so all of a sudden, then this person who everyone else seems to, initially have a certain sentiment or narrative on, they found something, and then all these influencers go, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, and then it spreads. So for those who don't know, for those who've been not watching my content, you all know narrative. What is a narrative? We got Mina Protocol for an example here. A narrative is what you instantly recognize that project to be associated with. So with Mina Protocol, well, a lot of you guys won't know what Mina Protocol is, right? So Solana, what do you all know Solana for? Okay, what's your instant thought? It's a layer 1 network. I get it. Some of you guys don't know what a layer 1 network is. We can get there. That's a different story, right? It's a layer 1 network. What is it also known for? Well, if you're kind of sitting there going, well, maybe this, maybe that, chances are it's not. If you're someone who doesn't know much about crypto, you can use, there is like a little, here, tags. So, I mean, you can kind of use this to get a good idea. I mean, CoinMarketCap, there's no like, process behind this. See layer 1 here, but layer 1 you might overlook that because you're looking what the hell's Kinetic Capital portfolio, right? Obviously it's a VC, but you might platform might be a narrative. Well, it's not. What the hell's a platform? What are you talking about? Right? Layer 1. So that's pretty much it. You have proof of stake as well, but you're never going to have a proof of stake narrative because that means the whole market's pretty much pumping, right? So that's might be a bit of a hand to some of you guys who don't know too much about crypto or crypto narratives. Either way, that's what I would associate with Solana. Instantly layer 1. Now, what you have to possibly think of is, remember, guys, one big thing is we're in 2023, but we're projecting 2025. We're projecting. So while 2 years, nothing crazy is going to happen, you also have to understand that things do move fast, so you have to kind of play it by ear. Now, in terms of Solana, what would I play by ear in the narrative? Well, a sub-narrative, okay? So we have, you can see in the bright red here, for Mina, we have layer 1 ZKPs and privacy. That's what you instantly associate Mina Protocol with. Therefore, when those narratives pop off, Mina will likely pop off as well, to some degree. But you have the sub-narratives, okay, which is on this lighter color, and the sub-narratives are what it could possibly be known for in 2025, or what it might come a bit later on, okay? So in this case, it's kind of like what the market dictates that project is. So in this case for Solana, it would be possibly DeFi, okay? Solana is known for DeFi, possibly even IoT, gaming, all right? NFTs, because its competitors in the narrative sense, right, are other layer 1 networks in DeFi, in Web3, which is Cardano, which is Near Protocol, which is Ethereum, which is Polygon, which is all of these networks. They're going to be stuck in Web3 and they're going to be competing against each other. So again, it's layer ones pop off, the primary narrative, all the money flows into layer ones. We recently somewhat saw this happen a few months ago. Okay, but then the next evolution of this research method is the meme. Because if you think about it like this, all the money flows into layer ones. Well, if you're someone in that category, if you're the degen, you know, okay, layer ones are popping off, all my influencers are talking about layer ones. What's layer one? You research, oh shit, okay, so these are some of the layer ones. Well, what is it about Solana, in this case, we're doing the example on Solana, that brings the attention in, okay? And so you got to look, so you can typically find us from the homepage, but it might require a little bit more research than just what we did with the narrative there, okay? So if I just open it up, again, typically the web page is kind of good for this because, again, the meme, by sense of what a meme is something that's easily propagated. You know, why does Dogecoin, why does Shiba, why does Pepe? They are meme coins, and the reason they're meme coins is go look at their website. They're easily understood. You resonate with it. You go, okay, this is what it is. Okay, you instantly pick it up and it's spreadable. That's what a meme is, very spreadable. Look at all the memes that happen online. Every single popular meme is something you can relate to. So you can't look for a meme that isn't relatable or something that is not easily understood by the degen. And this is something myself I have to really get my head out of. Okay, so damn, is DHN in the chat? Wade's in the chat, my man. DHN Crypto, my man. Good to see you in there, brother. I'll keep pressing on and then we'll look at some of these questions in a sec. Good to see you, Wade. Good to see you, brother. Okay, so Solana, right? What is the meme of Solana? Well, you know, you can go down. I think, you know, I personally don't keep up to speed with Solana. I know that they're making a side chain network as well. Now, I used to be very bearish on Solana, but can I tell you right now, they have started upgrading the network. They have started doing things that I'm going, there is most definitely a space for Solana. It's a very widely used network. They've done a lot of fucking shady shit in the past. A lot of stuff that I'm like, no. And you guys can, there's probably videos on my channel still of me like not trashing them, but most definitely being very critical of the network. You know, they've artificially pumped up their TVL to be more than Ethereum in the bull market. They've gone down like the most out of any layer one network and stuff like that. But they are progressing, and we have to remember, crypto, very new industry. Things have to progress, but they have to progress at crypto speed. They can't progress at traditional speed. You will get left behind, right? Especially in a speculation market. Speculation, again, is the degen market. Anyway, so you know, you can go through here and look at all this sort of stuff and you know, get a pretty good idea of what it possibly is doing. You know, things like a meme is something that a degen would pick up as a wow factor. For example, what isn't a meme would be this, right? So they're energy efficient. So, you know, let's see, what I'd say, are they carbon neutral? Let's say they're carbon neutral. A lot of other layer ones are carbon neutral, okay? So, you know, how fast are they? Well, okay, they're super fast, right? They're the fastest layer one network. That is a little bit of a meme in of itself, but are people going to really resonate with that? It's not really super wow, okay? There's a lot of nodes. Okay, that sort of supports that as well. But what you're really looking for here is a real big wow factor, okay? And again, it sometimes might take a little bit more for you to find. A wow factor in this case could be, where is it down here? These things I mentioned here, right? A meme can be defined as, so it can be anything like, you know, technology, governance of the team, or the tokenomics. One of those things can be the wow factor. It's what people go, oh shit, this is pretty cool. Could have a 100% burn rate, and that's what the degens love. So, you know, that might work in its favor. Not sustainable, but it might work for degens. Direct competition, you know, that in and of itself. So when I say direct competition, if Solana is extremely unique in a specific way, you can almost say its consensus is super unique, right? Proof of history, I think it is, right? But that's not really what a degen would understand. And then propagation, right? Is that meme easily spread? Okay, just like, you know, when you walk down the street. Have you ever walked past someone before and they're whistling something and it just instantly catches you, and then you just like, you know, half an hour later you find yourself whistling it just by pure chance? Well, that's part of the meme. But you won't be doing that if it's a complicated tune. So that's kind of what I'm talking about here, right? So that's the next thing. So the meme is the next thing. So in Solana, I probably shouldn't have used Solana as an example because well, I don't keep up to speed with Solana, but maybe we can come back and wrap around this in a second. But yeah, because I think it's probably pretty important we do touch on that. Well, at least I'll see what you guys want to touch on. Oh shit, we got a super chat in here. Holy crap. Ian with the $5. Thank you so much, Ian. 500 pennies for your thoughts on Injective. Is that right? Injective? Ian, if you don't mind, brother, I would love... Let's have a look at this as soon as possible. But I'll just continue with this quickly, and then I'll make sure that I... And then I'll make sure that I come back to that if you don't mind, bro. But yeah, definitely get to it. Definitely get to it. I'll quickly finish up. So popularity, right? So popularity is just a buzzword I've used in replacement for announcements and roadmap events. So anyone can find the roadmap events. This is things that the project has given us like breadcrumbs. Like you can expect there to be demand or an interest in the network at this certain time, right? So this could be things like Solana roadmap, right? You might want to look that up, for example, okay? And have a look through roadmap for Solana developer. You just go through it here and have a look, right? You know, be careful because you want to come from the horse's mouth. You don't want to be third-party websiting stuff. Why? Because I know from experience, if the roadmap changes, these websites won't change it, and you'll be left with outdated information. That's the worst thing. You don't want to be. You want to be up to speed with stuff. Okay. This doesn't look like it's probably useful anyway. So in combination with roadmap updates, because again, you think about it like this. I'll tell you one right now, Near Protocol. Why am I so bullish on Near? Well, besides everything else, Near has a very bullish roadmap because its literal whole scalability approach, its whole USP, basically, is being implemented in Q4 of 2024 / probably early 2025. You can't tell me that when that approach comes, there's not going to at least be some demand. Even if that demand is gradual and slow and it pops off and, you know, it doesn't have this amazing wow factor, we can buy the rumor now. It's not really a rumor. We can buy it now and then sell the news. Or sometimes it even sells before the news actually happens. Either way, you'll be equipped to take advantage of that, right? And so we want to look at things that are huge roadmap events. Okay, let me just, because again, I probably should not have used Solana for an example here. Let's use Mina Protocol for an example, because this is one of the best roadmaps in my opinion. It's literally stacked. And as long as they actually approach the roadmap and complete these things on time, it's going to blow up. It's just going to blow up from these events, right? You're talking about modular blockchain off-chain storage. So that to me is bullish. That to me is like really big. But to a degen, they're going to go, what the hell is a modular blockchain off-chain storage? Why is that even important for? That's a big thing. Storage is a big thing, but they're not going to give a crap about that. They're not going to give a crap about on-chain data availability. They don't even know what that is, right? Democratizing consensus. That's something I guess a degen can get around, but not really sexy. Sure. Mina, that's really sexy, but what is huge is compile any code to Mina. That's massive. This is massive. Infinite horizontal scaling, infinite scalability. Degens can understand that. Infinitely scale. All right. Instant finality. They can understand that. Everyone knows what that is. So you have these ZK oracles. This is going to be huge too, by the way. This is going to be huge. So yeah, these things are going to push the price of Mina up, and if I kind of show you what that looks like on a chart, it looks like this. All right, these spikes here, like you see with Cardano. Okay, and this is what we can take advantage of here, right? You have this, you know, even if it doesn't follow Bitcoin, but all of a sudden it spikes. Alternatively, this might even be a narrative. Right, this was actually the layer 1 narrative, I believe. Maybe this was, I can't remember. But either way, this is where you have these spikes, and that's where you take advantage. Okay, that's where you take advantage. And then, so additionally, you have the announcements as well. So these are things that aren't on the roadmap itself, but these are things that you can kind of take a hedge into. And I use this example all the time, but Uniswap. Okay, so Uniswap isn't going to partner with big names, or at least it might, but it's not going to be. It's like the odds are stacked against that not happening. Comparatively, if you have a look at a project like HBAR, it already has Google in its pocket, right? Google is already on the governing council, so it would not be a shock. Well, it would be a big shock, be a very good shock, but it would somewhat be more reasonable for HBAR to partner with Google than Uniswap. Okay, so that is something we can hedge into. Again, big news, projects know. Any sort of positive news in a bull run is extremely good for the project, where it just spikes it out of control, and in that case, the news spreads quickly. Now, I don't think projects like HBAR and these sort of more established Web 2 based companies are going to be doing that, just because of who's dealing with it in the company. But you'll find smaller crypto based projects are very careful at when they announce things. Very careful. This is spoken from someone who's worked for a Web 3 company before. They wait for the right time to launch, and they wait for the right time to drop the good news. It's all marketing. It's all a game. It's all psychology, okay? And then supply. Let me just get a drink of water real quick. My God. So supply, right? And this is kind of what you have to look at in terms of, again, there could be service, deep level stuff that could pop up on the surface, just like any of these things, I guess. But we want to look at mainly vesting, emissions, and distribution. So what do I mean by vesting and emissions? What's the difference? That's kind of two of the same thing. Vesting means the release of, and emissions meaning release of, right? So vesting is essentially when a project first launches, you have the distribution of tokens, not all of them. So you have pre-mine and fair mine. Fair mine tokens, they just start with 0 tokens and they start mining the network from 0 to wherever it goes to. That's called emissions. It's completely emitted. I'll touch on what emissions mean in a sec. So then the pre-mine tokens is the network on the first block. The first block that starts in the network spawns a whole heap of tokens, and chances are the team or the foundation has custody of those tokens, and then they distribute those tokens to wallets of exchanges or foundation, holding wallets, or and then it might go out to be distributed over time to investors and things like that. And so when we say vesting, it's those pre-mined tokens that we're talking about only in pre-mined networks, and that vests over time. So this is what it looks like down here. So Mina Protocol initially launched 1 billion tokens. Doesn't mean there was 1 billion in supply. It just means that there was 1 billion tokens pre-mined, pre-created in the initial first block that had the custody lock on it, and over time they release. This is the release here. So ignore this dotted line. That's the emissions. So this is essentially what we're looking at. And you have your different entities down here, and over time they release. That's vesting. Okay, so vesting always relates to the entity releasing tokens. Now, emissions is a little bit different. So emissions come from, again, running the network, like with a fair mined network. So that comes from block rewards. So Bitcoin is a fair mined network, a fair launched network. And that means initially there was 0 Bitcoin, and Satoshi, whoever had the first mining machine, started mining Bitcoin, and then it spawned 1 Bitcoin. Well, on the next block, it was actually 50 Bitcoin. So 50, 100, 150, 200, and then it started mining Bitcoin into existence, okay? So in that sense, you have the emissions also in proof of stake networks, or also, I shouldn't say just proof of stake, in a pre-mined, God, I'm getting my words mixed up now. You know what I mean, like pre-mined launches. Because when the network continues to grow, what happens? Well, for people like you and I, nodes, to secure the network, to have a vested interest in actually running the network, we have to be rewarded. All right? It's an economics problem. You want to be paid for your work in real life. Well, as nodes, to run the network, to keep the network secure and to keep it going, we need to be rewarded. So what do? They give you a reward every time you get a block right. That's just the simplest way to put it. And so that's what emissions are. Release. So with Bitcoin, it was initially 50 tokens, and it was 25, 12 and a half, whatever, 7.25, and it's just halved every time. And in some networks, that's classified as inflation. Now in Mina, for example, it's disinflation, right? So eventually it starts off quite high for the first 2 years, 12%, and then it diminishes post-launch, 48 months post-launch, 7% onwards forever. So 7%, what we call year on year. right? Year-on-year inflation for MENA. So after, after 48 months of launch. So that's the difference there. And then the distribution, of course, is the initial distribution. My bad, down here, I should have explained. Is the initial distribution, so the 1 billion MENA tokens, when it had its launch. Now, you won't find I guess you can, but you won't typically find a distribution chart for fair launched projects because those tokens are just fairly given out. If you put in the work, you get the tokens. It just works off hold accounts, all right? Who has how many tokens? And so you can see with MENA, you see they have two charts. It can get quite confusing for the beginner. But if you have 1 billion tokens, this is what MENA said, hey, guys, this is our expected allocation of the initial 1 billion tokens. Again, this is vested, so it will come out over time. But they also factor in what it would be like 4 years after Genesis. So what Genesis means is that first block, aka when it launched. 4 years after, what they've done is all the distribution is out. They've all vested, but they now account for inflation or emissions. And you'll notice that this is the emissions here. So block rewards. After 4 years, 30% of the entire 1.3 billion MENA tokens will be in emissions or block rewards, given out equally or whatever proportion to the community that mined those, that fairly got those. But just like anything, right, when you start adding more to the supply, you get diluted. So you can see the community here is now diluted. So from 42% after 4 years, it's diluted down here. Core contributors from 23%, they are now down to 17%. So you're diluting because there's an inflation. Okay? And so you can almost count block rewards as community, right? Well, obviously community would probably mean like community grants maybe. So, but this is actually in the hands of the community, people like you and I. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense, guys. I thought I'd go through that. Now, the team, pretty simple. Just go through the team. The team, in my opinion, is an additional boost. So the team will help things like the velocity. So again, if Cardano or MENA protocol is in the news, it's popular, or at least there's a layer one narrative that's going, and everyone's like, oh, well, MENA's quite cool. Boom. The meme pushes the velocity. If more people say, oh shit, that's cool, it's going to help push it up even more. Likewise, the team is that sort of velocity, right? People latch on. I guess you could almost say the team is part of the meme, but I thought I'd better, break that off right there. So, in relation to honoring Ian's $5, I shall now get into quickly looking at Injective. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we will look at some more things if need be. But first, before I move into Ian's question, does that all make sense? And I want to actually hear some thoughts on this, please, because this is something that, I talk about quite a lot, and I've kind of broken it down more so here than I have in previous videos. Do you all understand this concept? Because I think it's very important we all know this. And again, this is something that I think most people can understand. Most people can. So, how are we all going with that? Man, there's a big delay in my feed here. It must be like 30 seconds or so. All right. It's not really working. I'm sure you guys probably understand, right? Makes sense, Adam. Sweet. Okay. Yeah, you guys are all good with that. Awesome. So yeah, we can look at Injective here. What is Ian's exact request? Oh, just my thoughts on Injective. My thoughts. Okay, awesome. I'm glad you guys like it. I'm glad it makes sense. And I'm glad you think it's great too. That's awesome, My job is just to help you guys. So if it doesn't make sense, I can always break things down. Yeah, effective revenue models that will bring and keep in value. Simple enough. Yeah, awesome. So the blockchain built for finance. Build and use the best Web3. So I've obviously heard of Injective, but I haven't dove into it. Huh? I didn't actually know it was. I didn't actually know it was a layer one. Oh, so it's an IBC. It's an IBC network, right? It's built on Cosmos. So, you know, we always talk about, you know, transaction costs. I'm sure you guys would have known that, a lot of people say lower the better. And no, that's not true. Lower the transaction fees is not better. It's more dangerous for the network, because if I'm trying to push the network down like they've done with Solana in the past, if I'm trying to DDoS the network, right? What is it? Distributed denial of service or something like that. You know, when they just spam the network. I'm sure if you guys have ever played any online game, there's a chance if you shit talk like I used to, you damn well know that you get DDoS, right? They send a whole, it's illegal by the way, they send a whole bunch of information, overload your modem, in this case overload the network, and then it just crashes. So if you have transaction fees that are way, way, way too cheap, you can easily DDoS the network for cheap. If it's like this is good. 1 cent is actually quite healthy. I think maybe even 1/10 of a cent you could probably get away with, but this is what I like to see. Just so I thought I'd point that out there real quick. So they offer auto-executing smart contracts. I'm pretty sure I've seen another network before. One of the ones I talk about offer that as well. I just can't remember which one. So I don't think it is revolutionizing that. But yeah, so I'm guessing WASM is Cosmos machine mixed with WebAssembly. State machine? I don't know. But yeah, so WASM, if you guys see WASM anywhere, WebAssembly state machine, that's a very comprehensive state machine, so that's always a good sign to see. I shouldn't say pioneer, but a big user of that is Aster Network, and also I think Near Protocol now too. Am I reading this right? Okay, that sounds cool. That sounds really cool. Shit, what's the market cap on this? Okay. I was like, so far it sounds really good. Like, again, there's a difference between sounding good and actually being good. So that's like sometimes requires a little bit of research, because you know, like it's very easy just to pull the rug over your eyes when it comes to what's on the website. Definitely look at the white paper, see how it's constructed. That'll tell you a lot about the team. But yeah, I mean, look, so far, honestly, man, I'm really you guys have been giving me some great projects recently. And to be honest with you, I'm really excited when I launch the website, launch the course, and get all that sorted. I'll be a lot less stressed doing videos, and I think I'm going to spend a lot of time looking at the projects you guys are giving me here. Catch up to speed a little bit. Yep, that's great. Honestly, man, I'm really happy. I'm really pleased. Ian, right? Ian, I'm pleased, man. Thank you for mentioning this, brother. Yeah, Seth. So high quality mid cap. It looks to be, brother. It looks to be. So I really appreciate Ian jumping this in, man. So you know what? I'm going to definitely save this. It's kind of a bit crazy, right? Because like you hear about these good networks that you didn't hear of before, and one of those was VChain. You know, I had DHN in the chat here. He was like telling me about VChain pretty much every live stream. He was like, "When are you gonna look at VChain? When are you gonna look at VChain?" And I like finally was like, all right, I'm going to shut Wade up. I'm going to have a look at VChain. And I'm just like the reason I got into crypto, I was like, finally, I'll do it. And I finally did it. And I was like, damn, you were right. So, you know, VChain, of course, fell right into my lap with everything I look for in a network. And it looks like Injective is as well. So let me save this over yonder. And again, appreciate it a lot. Seth, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's go. Awesome. Okay, guys. Yeah, sweet. Is there any other suggestions here? Any other suggestions? Do you want me to run through something else? Montana. 50%. Your friend's got 50% of his portfolio in Injective. Damn. I know a guy, elderly guy, sold his house, was recently divorced. And this was when I was at the bank still, so a few years ago. And he put all of the money he made from his house, and this included his initial investment. So it was like, hundreds of, like over $500,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he like 5 or 6 X'd it or something like that. And the guy was, that was his retirement, So, I mean, for the lucky bastards that managed that. Rio. Okay, Rio, I hear you, brother. Aptos. All right, we'll do a vote. Maybe optimism, hey? Let's do a Q&A. Let's do a poll because let's keep it nice and fair here. I see a few names. We can only add 4. Which to review? Okay, so we're going to put in Rio because... okay. Hey, Matt, graph. I'm going to put the graph in here because that's actually one that I've looked at a few times. I really have looked at a few times, but I just was kind of like, either I wasn't in the mood to research or I was just like, this kind of slack. Just being honest. So I really want to look at the graph a bit more maybe. Okay, so we see that. Oh, we see Caspar. Now, see, I feel bad because I want to like pick the projects I'm kind of interested to talk about. I'd love to just like tell you guys about Caspar. I mean, I've made a video on Caspar already. It got like 16,000 views, so a lot of you probably have seen it. I am seeing Cass a little bit here, so I'll put Cass in. And I think Noah says Kanto. So I haven't heard of Kanto. I've heard of Rio before, but I've got Cass and Graph now. Let's see. Let's let the tribe speak. And I know for a fact, all you little cheeky buggers that don't get the one that you pick, you're gonna leave. I guarantee it. You just don't want to. I bet you won't want to listen to. I wouldn't either. Nah, honestly, you really should. If your one's not picked, holy shit, the graph really picking up here. You really should. It's just an educational thing, right? We can always do your projects next time. I'll definitely keep a mental note. We got a great question here from SEO on the go. I like that name, man. That's a nice name. What about Saito? Yeah, I mean, I can touch on Saito for sure, but we will do these 4. Saito is a great project. It will definitely go over a lot of people's heads, and it goes over my head, to be honest. I have to like really sit there when I was researching it, like really sit and just soak it in, because it's a very much so an economics problem. But once you understand it, you're so right, man. It's a fantastic one. My only concern with Saito is it coming to fruition? If Saito survives this bull run, it could be a game-changing project. But it might also 100x in this bull run. So, guys, we have 128 people in the chat. We have 36 votes. I understand some of you are on the go, but can we at least, if you are somewhat active, if you're sitting on the PC on your phone right now, just press a button. Press a button. Because I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes looking at this. I'm going to wait here a few more, because I know there's a delay. Damn, I'm having quite a bit of fun here for a spontaneous sort of stream. Matt says, loving your Twitter lately. Thanks so much, brother. Yeah, I mean, trying to provide value on all platforms is definitely something I started doing more recently, because people on Twitter don't want to come to YouTube and vice versa, so we got to kind of keep it diversified. All right, it looks like the graph has won. Yep. The graph it is. Let's go into it. Ooh, sick. Love the website. This is new, no? This never used to be like this. Build faster, 100% less servers. Create groundbreaking applications without needing to run your own data server. Build indexing infrastructure or pass. I can never pronounce that word. You know what I mean. Through raw data. Spend less, 60 to 98% less per month. Cut down on the cost and time spent running expensive infrastructure. By tapping into the growers' competitive data market. So, okay, so can I get this right? Okay, this is going to be... So, the graph does, as VChain said, it indexes. So, it's like an API, right? It's... So, what does it index? It just... Maybe I've jumped the gun here. Let me keep reading. Subgrass. Well, maybe this... Guys, I hope you don't mind me just reading this, right? This is my biggest my biggest thing about doing live streams and having to read to understand something first is I know who the hell wants to just look at someone read for a sec, but just give me a minute here and I'll be able to... And okay, can I say something real quick? This is why it's important to have a look at white papers, because you typically have something like this where it has a bit of an abstract. Why is it needed in the space? Then it moves into what it is, and then so on. Before the maths, there's definitely white papers have a whole bunch of friggin' maths. Before that, there'll always be some juicy information anyone can understand. At least, there's going to be pretty complicated jargon at sometimes, but mostly understandable, I think, for most people. So, okay. Let me just keep... Before I think... before I was going to say what I was going to say, I'll just keep reading real quick. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So it's just collects. So it indexes all the data that's kind of passed through since all these different networks, and then puts it on a silver platter for developers to use in their protocols. Right. That's VChain, brother. Wade. Is that kind of what it is? Yeah. So I knew the graph had APIs. I knew it did some sort of indexing, but I just didn't, and I knew it provided obviously some sort of backend, like Covalent. If you guys know Covalent, that's kind of what I thought the graph was, but a bigger, more established network than Covalent. And from what it sounds like, I'm right. Which is needed, right? This is most definitely needed in crypto because we only ever, as the consumer, get the front end, right? We pretty much get the front end of whatever we're looking at. Like this website right now, this front end, this is what we get, okay? We might use a DApp or something like that, but we interact with a server or the front end. But it's what happens beneath that on the smart contract, but then beneath the smart contract, and that's kind of what this is. It's like providing all the information. Okay, so that's right. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I quite like it, but to me, there is that sex appeal there. There is that like that interest, but is it something that so my biggest sticking point with Covalent and subsequently the graph, obviously, is that are people going to like it? Because while this might be a fantastic project to buy, are the degens going to want to buy it? That's the question I ask myself. So I think no matter what happens, kind of like Chainlink, right? If people like Chainlink because it's Chainlink, but if Chainlink was less popular or it wasn't as sexy, let's just say, as this super Oracle and now interoperability protocol, that's kind of what the graph is. Like, would people still want to buy it? I don't know. The follow-up question is, like, when we talk about utility, how is the GRT token used in this whole process? Like, do they need to, every time they need to pull data, every time they need to access the data bank, right? Does that trigger something where they need to pay GRT tokens? Like, how does that work? Is there a licensing fee? I don't know. That is what I would look at next. But to be honest with you guys, I need to just spend more time looking at things like the graph, because I could be completely off the mark with that. Maybe the second thing, my second problem with do you need the GRT token? Maybe that is most definitely taken care of. Maybe there's an awesome feature on there that, licensing fee, every, like Quant, for example, every person that wants to build an app on the network, right? It takes into account how much traffic they're going to have, plus also how many employees they have to figure out the licensing cost. Maybe it's something like this with the graph, and that would make sense, which would be cool. So this would be a good buy for my portfolio if I was like, okay, I want to have like an infrastructure project. Yeah, you're right. So Max says, Max on the spot with this. Glad to see, brother. You're right. It's more of a utility play rather than a meme factor project. So that's why it might probably perform better over time. Be more of a long-term hold rather than, because it's the glue that holds the network, the space together, but it's not sort of this wow big sexy, you don't see it, how big's the graph community? Not as big as a project that's probably around the same size as it, right? Like Algorand. Thank you for all sitting through that, by the way, and just watching me read. That was great. That's my biggest concern. That's why I don't like to read, I don't like to do that sort of too much on live, just because I get that people don't really want to watch me, figure that out, right? XRP on the stock market, so Ripple probably going public. So if Ripple goes public, so XRP won't be on the stock exchange. It'll be the company Ripple. They'll go public. Probably, it makes sense to me, but I think they'll probably have to sort out whatever the hell's happening with the SEC first. That'll definitely have to finalize, because maybe the whole thing with that. Mina can absorb all these projects on a single file with room to spare. Invest wisely. Hey, I love to see the Mina community in here. Yeah, as Andrew said, so not XRP, bro. Ripple, the company, will do the IPO, yeah. Riveting entertainment. I love that. I haven't heard that word for a long time. All right, guys. Yeah. Hey, look. Where's Noah? Noah V. So Noah V wants me to look at Kanto, brother. I'm not gonna lie. It's been an hour now, and this was just gonna be actually a really quick live stream. But I've had fun with you guys talking about this shit. And this is my problem. You don't mention. If I ever meet you in real life, just don't mention crypto. Cause hey, Kyron, how you going, man? Like, we'll just talk about your life or whatever it may be. Don't mention crypto. And how stupid does that sound? Don't mention crypto to the crypto guy. I mean, give it a go and see what happens. You'll be late to whatever you're looking to go to, right? But in all seriousness, guys, thanks so much for being here. It's always great to see your beautiful faces. We're going to go live every single day, and I apologize for not being on time. We're 10 a.m. AEST for probably the next while here. Tonight was a spur of the moment sort of thing. But we got a great crowd in, so maybe I should switch it up. Wade, the first thing you're bringing up is crypto. But I know that you'd probably love to talk about it too, right? We'd probably be sitting there for days on end. All right, gentlemen and ladies, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. And guys, just to let you all know, okay, I am heading to Dubai token 2049. Now, I've said I was going to go to the crypto convention over here in Australia coming up, I think, in November, but I'm not. I've decided I'm not to. I'm going to go to Dubai instead. And I think that might even draw a bigger crowd of people. Maybe we can all, I don't know, do something. That'll be sick, right? Maybe even come over to the US. Anyway, that'll do. Hey, you guys made my day. Really appreciate it. Montana, are my parents okay? Yeah, they made it to Bali. They're in Bali right now. I think Bali's like 4 hours behind me, so they're not too bad. But yeah, I had to just drop them down to the airport. It's about an hour drive to the airport, so. Yeah, I'll bring the cash for Dubai. I'll bring the cash. They got really cheap gold over there, so I'm thinking about buying some gold, actually, to be honest with you. As long as the market allows me to get in at a somewhat decent time. But live stream from Dubai. Yeah, there's so much to see in Dubai. Such a beautiful place. So we're going to make something happen. We're going to make it happen. But if any of you come, let me know. Join the Discord and let me know. All right, I'm stalling, guys. I don't want to go. Thank you all so much for being here, as always. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next live stream. Matter of fact, the next live stream's in 11 hours. So I'll see you in 11 hours. Awesome. Good to see you, Wade. Good to see you back in the game, brother. All right. Peace out. Love you all. Take good care.